I'm back. This is part two because the video went off. As I was sharing, God so loved the world that He gave the world you. He gave the world me. He put us in this world. And I think of it as a blessing. And when I pray, I ask God to erase everything that's going on in my mind so God can fill me up with His will. And then I just listen for the answers. I breathe in love and peace and God and breathe out me. Because I found out a long time ago that my thinking is the problem and thoughts can create. So when I think of God as being an ongoing conversation, God in everything I say, God in everything I do, God in everything, then I have to watch what I'm thinking, because if I'm thinking negative, I believe our thoughts can create. And if I think negative, I start to do negative. And then I start to suffer the consequences of the negative actions. And from my lifestyle of drinking from 5 to 30, I created a lot of negativity in my head, and I started to act on it, and I almost killed myself with drugs and alcohol and my behavior, putting myself in dangerous situations with people that are abusive because I hated who I was. And I would drink so I could not feel and I could run. And I found out that you can't run from yourself because you're always there. When my husband passed away, I was feeling the pain of missing him. And I wanted to run, but I didn't think of drinking, but I did think of a lot of my old behaviors, and I wanted to act on them because it sounded like a good idea, which of course wasn't. And I ran that off by that idea to people. And I learned that just because we think something does not make it right. And we don't have to act on it. We can erase it. We can start over at any time in the day that we want to and start our day over. I started to think about things that I knew that would bring me to alcohol because the pain of missing my husband was deep. And then when my husband passed, my caregiver talked me into things because I was in shock of his death, so I didn't know what I was agreeing to. And then she ended up taking advantage, and then it was a big mess, and the APS got involved, and it was like so chaotic. And when I got sober, I started to change, and I got away from toxic people. And so then when I found out the true colors of my caregiver, she was my caregiver for 2 years, and Phil and I trusted her, and then I found out we couldn't trust her, and I just felt like I was living a nightmare. And thankfully, because of the tools, the 12 steps, the recipe of life, I grabbed on to God, and I put myself in the program like I did when I was new. And I don't use labels. I don't use labels of long timers and newcomers. I'm a child of God that happens to be an alcoholic. And I have to remember I'm a child of God before I'm an alcoholic or before I'm a drug addict. Because see, my true self is not an alcoholic. My true self is that I'm part of God. But because I'm a spiritual being having this human experience, I happen to be experiencing alcoholism. I'm an alcoholic. I'm an addict. But because I changed and I got desperate, the gift of desperation to change, I today am living clean and sober. But because I am an addict, because I'm an alcoholic, I know that if I pick up one drink, that will lead me on a roller coaster of drinking and using, and I don't want that today. But I know I can, and I can't tell you that I'm going to wake up clean and sober tomorrow. But I can tell you in this moment, I don't want to pick up. I don't want to drink. And what I do in this moment can carry on to the next moment, and the next moment, and the next minute, and the next hour, and the next day, and so forth. So it's what I do in this moment that will keep me sober tomorrow, and what I do in the next moment, and so forth. I have footwork I have to do. I can't just go to meetings and talk the program and read the book and get all the questions right. I have to work it into my daily life. It's not about questions. It's not about getting an A or an F. It's about allowing myself to surrender to a higher power. Call it what you like. You don't have to call it God, whatever you feel comfortable. But allowing myself to allow a higher power to take over, because if I don't, then I'm taking over, and I'm the wrong person to take over my life. I have a broken picker when it comes to everything, not just men, but everything. And when I met my husband, Phil, I didn't pick him. I believe God did. I met him, and it was like, at first, you just didn't know each other. And slowly we became friends, and we became really good friends. And before we got together, we were like just really, really close. He was my best friend. And then it just grew, and then just God carried us together and put us together. That's all I can say. And it was a miracle. And then he died right in front of me. 24 years we were together, and almost 14 years married. And it's a gift. And it's a gift that I'm grateful for. And now he's not here physically, and I feel empty sometimes. But then I remember he is here. He is here spiritually. He's in my heart. I won't stop sharing about him, because that's how I keep him alive. And I hope that if you've lost a husband or wife or loved ones and who you love, I hope you don't stop sharing about them, because that's how we can keep them alive through us. And that's a gift. And I'm truly grateful. This has not been a good year. It's been a tough year. But it's up to me to make it a good year, even around the things that have happened that felt like hell. I can make it a good day. I can change the way I think about my situation. And that's why I say, I don't know how to put it into words. Sometimes it's like I know what I want to say, but it just won't come out. But God so loved the world that he gave the world you. He gave the world me. And that's a gift to us. So my gift to God is to share God's love. And God loved me and put Phil in my life. And Phil loved me unconditionally. Now, he wasn't perfect. He was a human being. So no, he didn't love me unconditionally completely. But to me, he really did love me, and I know it. And I know that he knew that I loved him. And that's a gift. And now that he's passed, I know more and feel the love more than I did when he was here. I guess it's because I can't hear all the things he used to do and see his actions, so I have to remember what he taught me. So I ask God to just fill me up with the love and with God's will, and to remember the positive of our lives together, and to help me to share the love of my husband. He loved me, and I loved him, and he cared about people, and he taught me that love is an action. It's not just words. You could say I love you, and you could say all these wonderful words, but it doesn't mean anything unless your actions are proving it. And I watched his actions before we were together. I saw how he just cared about people from the heart. And I believed he was special. And I had no idea we were going to be together. I just knew he was a good friend, and I wanted to hold on to that friendship. And I am continuing to hold on to our friendship and our love, even though he's not here, because I believe that the Spirit lives. And when people pass on, they can live through us. We can allow them to live through us. It's entirely up to us. It's up to me if I want him to live through me, and I do today. I am just truly grateful. I want to share with those that if you're hurting, if you're drinking, if you're an alcoholic, if you're an addict, or even if you're not, but maybe you're codependent on somebody or something. There's so many addictions. I want you to know that you're not alone. You're not alone even when you feel alone. And I feel alone many times. I still do. I'm not saying just because I'm, clean and sober and I have God that everything's perfect and I never feel alone. Because every day I wake up and I'm there and I'm here. And there's so many things about me that I found that are good. And there's so many things about me that I found I need to change. So when I make my gratitude list, either on paper or in my head, I think of all the things that I'm grateful for. And I write down the things, or I say them out loud, the things that I need to change. And I am just so grateful. There's a lot of things I need to change about myself, and I'm proud to admit it. The longer I'm sober, I thought, well, the longer you change sober and the more you change, you'll get to a point where you're done and then you've got this program. But I found out I don't have this program. I have God, I have love, I have recovery. But it's a process, a daily process. And the more that I work on myself, the more that I see my faults coming out, and then I have to see what I can change. And the more I work on myself, I see the good parts of me that I need to keep too. My sponsor was big on starting with positive and ending in positive. So when we took the steps, I had a gratitude list, and I did it all the time, daily. And I wrote affirmations, positive things, and I wrote the things I needed to change, and that's taking my defects of character that are negative to change it into something positive. And I write them down, and it's been a blessing because I could see what I can do to change it instead of beating myself up over because I have that bad negative quality. Some people say, well, you sin. You're a sinner. Well, of course, because we're human. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. So yes, I'm imperfect. I don't use the word sin. I just use I have defects of character that I need to change. And I need to change because I want to change it, because I receive peace when I change it. I'm not changing it so I can go to heaven. I'm changing it so I can have peace, because I believe that is heaven here on earth. And I'm truly, truly grateful for this program. God so loved the world that he gave the world you. I'd like to end with a poem that saved my life. A poem that if you search, I am the place where God shines through, you'll find many authors because it's changed through the years of the words. But this is the basic one, the only one I remember. And I use it in meditation. I'm going to say it, and you're going to just let it flow. I am the place where God shines through, for he and I are one, not two. I need not fret, nor fear, nor plan. He wants me here and as I am. And if I be relaxed and free, he'll carry out his plans for me. And I use that as a meditation. I breathe in and breathe out while I say it. I feel and let the feelings and the emotions just come. Sometimes I cry, sometimes I laugh. I let the pain out, I let the joy out. And that's what saves me and keeps me centered. I am truly grateful for my life today. Yes, I wish Phil was here and I wish he didn't die. I wish the caregiver never came to our house after she was exposed. I wish she would have called us up. But you know what? She didn't. And I give her to God, and I wish you the best. I have to let go of all my anger and resentment upon everything that I have if I want to receive peace. And today I have peace, and I want to hold on to that. And when I start getting into my head, I lose that peace. And I do that every day. I start to lose that peace. And that's why I ask God to fill me up with His will and take away my will. I am the problem. But with God, I have the solution. God so loved the world that He gave the world you. I thank you for all your support. And if you've listened, I thank you. And please help me pass my YouTube around. Send it to your friends. God bless you.